A warm welcome to your Barbados Today evening news update for Thursday, June 10th. Government outlines plans to boost the water storage capacity in several constituencies in Barbados in a bid to address water woes. Minister of Transport, Works and Water Resources, Ian Goodinegel, told the Barbados Labour Party Christchurch East Branch meeting last night that the Mayor Motley administration was making the required investments in water. He told the party supporters that 5 new concrete tanks will be erected, the first of which will be in Christchurch East.
We can't have what we have at Providence to continue. We can't allow Rising Sun to operate as it currently operates. I have come to tell your Member of Parliament and to tell you, the good people of this constituency, that you will have a new 1.3 million gallon tank, concrete tank at Rising Sun to complement the existing tanks you have that we have under repair at Providence in this constituency. Now when I tell you that we are going to work and we are working hard, it's a 1.3 million. So that's additional capacity that you never had in this area to service not only this constituency but other areas in Christchurch. So I want to say to you that if it's one thing your representative knows best, he knows how to lobby on behalf of his constituents. He knows how to look after his people. And that new 1.3 million gallon tank, concrete tank to be constructed at Rising Sun will be completed in this calendar year, ladies and gentlemen. That is our objective, and we are going to fight to ensure that we achieve that objective.
Goodinegel said similar projects will be done in St. James and St. Joseph.
We plan to construct 2 tanks at Apes Hill with again additional capacity of 1.3 million gallons of water going down there. So what is your government doing? We have a problem. We suffered over the years. The investment in water infrastructure did not happen, and the government, notwithstanding the pandemic, has remained committed to the supply and the augmentation of water in Barbados, and has remained committed to the improved water infrastructure in this country. And that is why I can stand before you and tell you that in addition to Rising Sun, we are going to have additional 2 tanks at Apes Hill consisting of 1.3 million gallons of water as storage capacity. But we are not finished. And you're hearing it for the first time tonight. We are not finished. The government intends to construct an additional 600,000 gallon tank at Walkers in St. Andrew. We intend to do so. And we are also going to improve the existing tank at Castle Grant, and we are going to build a new 1.3 million gallon tank at Castle Grant in St. Joseph.
There is a new campaign to tackle crime and violence in Barbados. It's called End the Violence Now. Delivering the feature address at the launch over the weekend, Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment Dwight Sutherland explained that government will pump $200,000 into the campaign. He said his ministry will also collaborate with other public and private sector agencies and other partners on the initiative.
In a determined bid to combat this phenomenon, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment has, over the past several months, been working to craft an engagement with individuals and communities to initiate a sustainable response to the many disruptive elements of violence at every level of society. While that effort hones in on our youth, it still recognizes that the challenge of violence is multi-demographical and must therefore be confronted through partnerships and alliances.
Sutherland said various methods such as sensitization programs, target messages and intervention initiatives will be used to reach target groups.
The first phase of the program will involve the rollout of a series of sensitization, and other activities using an online media-based strategy. The platform identified for this rollout include Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as the traditional media. This is critical in disseminating the anti-violence message. So the anti-violence campaign will target audience island-wide. However, to ensure adequate coverage, some special interest groups will be targeted, and they include the boys on the block, the youth at risk, families, gang members, perpetrators and victims of domestic violence. And given the vastness of the challenge that confronts us today, it is my ministry's determination that no stone should be left unturned in our efforts to arrest this situation. Most crucially, and despite the very challenging economic climate that exists in Barbados and other island states, my government, as a testimony of its commitment to this cause, has budgeted the sum of $200,000 as a means of financing this campaign. We believe that every penny invested in the well-being of the citizens of Barbados is money best spent.
Solid waste brokering is an essential part of solid waste management for Barbados. That's according to the Sanitation Service Authority's Assistant Manager of Engineering, LEONA DEANE, who made it clear that it was not sustainable for officials to keep burying the amount of metal that residents continue to throw away. She made the comments during a recent update on cleanup operations at Bees Recycling Center.
Waste brokering is an essential part of solid waste management. The reason why is that Barbados is too small to landfill every single thing that we have. People are throwing away. I mean, you would be amazed the amount of fridges. You know, it is, you just can't understand why there are so many fridges coming in. I mean, we get 500 beds a month. We get hundreds of fridges a month. We get hundreds of TVs. We continue to dispose and bury these things. It is not sustainable. We are too small and we can't continue to do it. So waste brokering is a way to assist in trying to ship some of these things out, let the larger jurisdictions that have the access to industrialization and steel smelting and whatever deal with some of the waste that we produce, and that they can be recycled and made into something else. We don't do that here, but we can't continue to landfill because it's not exhaustive. We don't have the space. This is not Canada or the US. We can't just go into the wilderness and find a location. Think of all the cars on the road today. Where would the SSA landfill all of the cars on the road today? There's just no place to put it. So waste brokering is essential. All kinds of avenues for the reduction of waste going into the landfill, whether it be waste brokering for recycling, composting, biodigestion, whatever it is that can remove items from being landfill or dumped is welcome.
No new COVID-19 cases were recorded from the 367 tests conducted by the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory on Saturday, June 12. 15 people are currently in isolation. To date, the country has recorded a total of 4,036 COVID-19 cases, comprising 1,952 females and 2,084 males. The death toll from the virus is 47. Meanwhile, public health officials have administered 87,382 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine as part of the National Vaccination Program. Of that number, 62,131 people, that's 25,530 males and 36,601 females, have been fully vaccinated.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region now. Anyone found forging a COVID-19 vaccine certificate in Guyana will face the full brunt of the law. The country's health minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, issued the warning after a woman allegedly committed the act last week. We get more from Gordon Mosley of News Source, Guyana.
According to the health minister, persons need to understand that they are putting their own lives at risk when they decide to forge medical records.
It's a really serious matter. If you're not vaccinated and you then tender some document to pretend that you have been vaccinated, then you should come, face the full brunt of the law, because you're putting yourself at risk and you're putting others at risk. And therefore, we have to take serious action against this.
A Berbice woman who was preparing to leave the country was found with a forged vaccination certificate in her possession after initially claiming that she had misplaced her original certificate. Dr. Anthony said the forgery of vaccination certificates and official documents related to COVID-19 could jeopardize the entire vaccination program.
It would also put our entire vaccination program in disrepute if people are going to try to forge these certificates. So we are on the lookout, and we are going to take serious actions if we find anyone violating, trying to forge documents and things like that.
On the international front, a political shakeup in Israel as Benjamin Netanyahu's 12-year rule came to an end on Sunday after a new prime minister and his coalition were sworn into office.
Benjamin Netanyahu's 12 years of rule are over. New Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and an unlikely coalition have dethroned the longest-running leader in the history of the country. 49-year-old Bennett thanked Netanyahu for his service to the country, but said that the job of governing Israel has moved on to the next generation. In an afternoon punctuated with cheers and jeers from both sides, Netanyahu struck a defiant tone in what sounded nothing like a farewell speech. If we are destined to go into the opposition, he said, we will do so with our heads held high until we can bring down this government. The coalition government holds a razor-thin majority, and Netanyahu is still the head of the largest single political party in parliament. The political upheaval comes just weeks after Israel's military conflict with Hamas militants in Gaza and maintaining a fragile peace with its Palestinian neighbors will be one of the biggest challenges facing the new government. The new coalition is unlike any that has come before. It crosses the political spectrum from the far left to the far right.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.